Hey, welcome to another edition of Kyle Meredith with. It's the interview series presented by WFPK at WFPK.org, Consequence, and the Consequence Podcast Network. Thanks as always for making your way here, for checking out the series. Of course, you know what to do if you like what you see, what you hear. Hit that subscribe button. I put out 3 new interviews every single week, so it's a great way to keep up with all of your favorite artists. And I could not be more excited to have one of my all-time, one of the greatest artists of all time. Sheryl Crow is back. Hello.
Hey Kyle, how are you? Man, we go way back, don't we?
We go way back. In fact, so I was thinking, because you having an album brings everybody back to a little announcement you made in 2017 or 18, whatever it was, and it was on my show. And I know you made it other places too, but I was thinking, like, you announcing that on this show, on this series, was one of the first interviews to help legitimize this whole thing on kind of a national global level, because everybody ran with it. And first I wanted to say thank you for helping to do that and for trusting me.
Oh, I
But
love
yeah, but also I also remember after that interview, I thought, I wonder how long it'll take her to change her mind.
Well, I want to say that it was AI that said I wasn't going to make another record, and yet there was no AI then. That's not entirely true. Yeah, I still feel the same way, Kyle. I feel like, it's still counterintuitive to how I feel about making records when people don't listen to them the way you sequence them. I'll have a song that's on a playlist with people I've never even heard of. But I will say that this circumstance was so weird. In the middle of all the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame build up and stuff, I found myself going and writing songs and really thinking about the things that were concerning me at the time, like AI and like what was happening here in Nashville. And I wrote a bunch of songs and I called my friend Mike Elizondo, who's an amazing producer. Just an incredible human being, and said, look, I don't want to produce myself. If you like any of these, would you produce them? And he literally took my guitar vocal or piano vocal demos and built movies around them. And so I just kept going. And then the next thing I knew, I had an album. So, and I knew I was going to have to answer, why did you say that? But I am just saying that it's a collection of pertinent songs put into an album form. It's just a collection of songs, not an album. There,
Well,
there.
I will say, artists have to create one way or the other,
Yes.
and much like myself, you're an album baby. We grew up on it, so it's not so out of the realm. But even as a collection of song, and pardon my language, I'm going to call a little bit of bullshit on that, because there is a sound, there is and maybe that's this partnership that you're talking about with Mike.
Yeah.
But that's, I think, all of your albums have that, and all their albums have their own mood. So I don't know why I was surprised, but I found myself surprised this time because of that right there. Because I'm like, oh, this does have a mood to it,
Yeah.
like there is this sound. Did you find that you were sort of tracing that you were looking for that as you were going forward?
It was an interesting process because I think my producing myself is a couple of things. I think I basically determine what I want the movie to look like, right? And it's largely based on where I'm at in my life. But also, I think I'm a bit of a controlling person, you know what I mean? Like I like to play the instruments, I like to like create and unwind and then do something different. I find myself in every aspect of record making with the exception of playing drums. So this for me was you know what? I I can't blow my mind, and that's what I need right now. I need my mind to be blown with the work I've created. And so I had to let go of, like, I would walk into the studio and Mike would have created without me, just using my guitar and vocal or my piano and vocal, this incredible, like, Martin Scorsese masterpiece. And the first time I heard Evolution, which was the very first song, I was like, oh my God, I started crying. I was like, I don't even know what to say. This is so amazing. And then part of me felt like, oh no, I'm not playing the bass on this. I'm not playing. And then I was like, hey, guess what? That's awesome. You know what I mean? Um, So it was just the biggest gift I gave myself to not gnash teeth over recording these songs. All I did was write them. Man, and I'm telling you what, joy, joy, joy when I listen to them.
Hmm. Well, and since we're there, evolution and that sound, that sweeping sound, that cinematic sound. In fact, the first time I heard it, I thought, if it reminds me of anything that you'd done in the past, the closest thing I could think of was your James Bond song. Like
Oh,
it's
wow.
got that
Yeah.
kind of feeling to it, like that's
Drama, like lots of dramatic, swells. And, I do think the one thing that was really beautiful about not the one thing, one of the things that Mike did that was so beautiful was that he listened to what the song was about and he brought his experience to it. And there is fear in that song and there's an overwhelmingness to it. And then there's that moment when in the third verse where it comes down to nothing but the voice and some ticking that you go, that is our vulnerability in the cosmos of all of this. I mean, he really did capture, he did things I could not do because I don't understand how to do it.
Hmm.
And I love that. And if there's nothing else by this point in my life that I know about myself, it's that learning is what keeps me going. Learning new things, um, having my mind blown. I mean, it's got to be there. Otherwise, you just quit doing it. And it's what keeps me going. And it was so much fun to walk in and just go, oh my God, I can't believe. The second song I sent him was Broken Record, which is just like this bratty sort of FU to a lot of people that I know.
Mhm.
Um, and nobody would touch it. Like I played it for my band and they're like, ugh. And I played it for Jeff and he's like, and I was like, well, I don't know what to do with it then. And I sent it to him and he was like, oh, let me at this. And it opens up. I mean, I feel like, oh, there's Mike Elizondo. It's like, it's got that funky Beastie Boys thing at the beginning of it. And then it kicks into Sheryl Crow. And it's just, I mean, he's a genius.
Yeah. And that, with the line, it's not hard to be nice.
It's
And
not that
then,
hard to be nice. It's
yeah,
just not.
and then on where to be free means learning not to care. Like again, as you're talking about, once you start figuring out what you needed to say, like it starts to feel like this seems to be what the thesis a bit, or at least a mantra of the record.
Yeah. I mean, I like the idea of mantra. I think mainly because I'm a meditator, but also, it's not, it's not, I don't know, I don't think it's in our essence to not care. But we also have to learn how to feel. And I think we have really specialized in the last few years. I mean, as Westerners, we've specialized in that forever. You have a bad breakup. Well, just try not to think about it. Make yourself busy. Now we've become quintessentially perfectionists at it, of not feeling, because we can turn off the TV and not look at the gun violence, or we can get on Instagram and just scroll, and then put that away. And, I think in order to care, we actually have to feel. And it asks that question, how do we care if we can't learn how to feel again? And the fact that we are learning to feel is like, I'm scratch my head.
Sure, sure. But it's interesting to hear you explain that, because as I look at the track list and you get to "Don't Walk Away," I
Mhm.
mean, you are feeling on this record, even if that's not a direct reflection of something's going on. Like I don't know, I don't know if it's or someone else, but like, where did you have to go to get into that? Because it feels like one of the most vulnerable moments I've ever heard you commit to record.
It is, and there's a couple of things I think I could speak to with being my age is that you do have this feeling that no one's ever going to hear this anyway. So there's some safety in that. But the other thing is for me to write now, I can only write about the things that are on my mind and on my heart. I mean, I could certainly sit down in the studio with Jeff or by myself and craft a song easily. Would it get played? I don't know. It depends on who cut it. And I'm not going to write songs for 20-year-olds. I'm not going to write songs about sex. I'm not going to, and while that might be what is really hitting hard, I find that in music, it's the messenger as well, or even more. Um, is what catapults songs. So for me to sit at the piano and write about somebody that I love whose life is falling apart because of COVID, a lot of relationships kind of came apart. Of course, a lot of people also met each other. There were some things that were really wonderful about the isolation, and there were things that were also challenging. And I could relate to the song because I'm not married, and it was difficult for me to stay in the room. And, I think if we get into what our nature is, whether we're fight or flight or whatever, and we really look at ourselves hard, um, that song addresses some of that stuff, and I don't know. I didn't, when I wrote it, I literally thought, what would I ever do with this song? I mean, who would want to hear it? And when I sent it to Mike, I always said, you're the barometer. And he's like, man, you gotta. People will relate to the fact that you do believe in love, but sometimes believing in love means doing the hard work, not knowing what the future looks like, but staying in the room.
Yeah. I'm so glad you did. Like I said, that it's such a powerful moment on this record.
Thank you.
And it, I didn't have the lyrics going into it, until afterwards, so I didn't know what to expect, and it just kind of punches you. But it's also interesting to hear you talk about, like, writing it not knowing who's going to listen, because not thinking it, you're never going to make another record. Like when I hear like Do It Again, and it just feels so comfortable. And I thought, that's got to have something to do with that. My assumption anyway is like, if you're not pushing for, it's got to be an album, I've got to push for something. Like, did it feel like the weight was gone from any of these songs, assuming there was a weight at all beforehand?
No, I mean, I'll be honest. And Kyle, I probably said this to you before too. My kids say it, Mom, you were born in the 1870s. Part of me, it's hard for me to celebrate the way music works now because you can feel like your best work is in front of you, but you really basically, the shot of breaking through all of what's out there is so slim and nil that instead of me thinking about what can I write that will break through, I write, what is it that I can feel really good about A, putting out, and B, then going and playing live. I had a really funny conversation with Lionel Richie at a gig that I opened up for him and Billy Joel. And Lionel was like, he said, when you play new songs? And I said, no, I wasn't sure. Are you asking me? Like, when does Sheryl Crow play new songs? And I said, no. And he goes, never. And I said, you never play new songs? He goes, nah, they don't want to hear that shit. They want to hear the old stuff, So now whenever I play something new, I tell that story and I go, okay, now I'm going to bore you. You guys can go to the merch table or go get a beer, go to the bathroom. I'm going to play you Do It Again.
But I want to hear that. Like, I want to hear you guys jam that out for 10 minutes on stage, honestly.
And we will, Kyle, we will, and that song to me sums up the whole album. The fact that you can have all of these emotions, but every single day you get a clean slate to mess it up again, and then you go to bed and you have to let go of yesterday. It stays in the past and you get a clean slate the next day, and there's glory in that, there's total glory in that. So that's the way I try to live.
Yeah. Well, I know I'm up against the clock here. I'll quickly say that you're also touring with Pink this year, which is
Yes.
very exciting. How are you practicing your acrobatics? Are we going to see you guys both up there?
Yes. Right now I'm able to do a cartwheel. I'm not quite at my back bend stage yet. I will say, I tried out for cheerleading when I was a seventh grader, and I'm the most not flexible person ever, I think, because I'm a runner. So yeah, probably not going to be doing any acrobatics, but I will definitely be trying to sling my guitar a little, if that will work.
It's not nothing, right?
That's not nothing. Yeah. At my age, that's not nothing.
Right. I am excited to see this. I cannot tell you how much I love this album and how happy I am selfishly as a fan that you decided to go ahead and do another record, because I just want you to keep doing them. Honestly,
thank you. I probably will. I mean, honestly, I don't know what else to do with myself. And the only way, I go on social media and bitch about crap, but I'm just going to be told to F off. So I like to be able to just write songs and say it's not all unhopeful, but there are things that are definitely we all feel. So let's just get into it a little.
Yeah, beautiful. It is such a pleasure to talk to you as always.
Good to see you. Good to talk to you.
Yeah, we'll do this again, hopefully anytime. You can
Yeah,
just come on every week. We'll make it a thing.
I'm here.
All right.
Talk about
All
all
right.
the good stuff.
And thanks to my guest. Also, thanks to you for checking out the episode in the series. Before you get out of here, hit that subscribe button. Again, you get 3 brand new interviews every single week. New one every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at right here on YouTube, or of course anywhere in podcast land, including iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podchaser, NPR, or WFPK.org as well. A great way to keep up with your favorite artists and discover new ones as well. Then after that, actually head over to WFPK.org. That's where I do a show Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern. It's an hour full of song premieres, music news, anniversary spins, bonus interviews, Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern at WFPK.org. Consequence has your music and film news. You can also find me on the social media spots, Facebook, Instagram, mostly on Twitter. All 3 of them, the address is at Kyle Meredith. Do hope you like and follow along. That does it for another edition. I'm Kyle Meredith. I'll see you next time.